Hey Libra, and welcome to your monthly tarot reading. So this is for Libra Sun or Rising for the month of August 2023. Out of the tarot videos that I put out monthly, this is the more extended version. This is where we really take a look at how the month is unfolding for you, what kind of challenges coming up and feeling kind of prominent in the space, and any kind of, we could say, spiritual advice that's coming through as well. So the astrological highlights video for the first half of August is up already. I'll link that down below, but also at the end of this video, you can just click on it and head over to check that out. It's timestamped, so you can just skip ahead to whichever dates you feel like you want to check out or to come back to it throughout the first half of the month. Okay. Oh, also, because the other videos that I put out, if you're kind of new here, the bi-weekly videos, they're bi-weekly-ish that I put out are from full to new moon and new to full moon, right? Because it's an approximate 2-week period of time. So because we're starting out the month on August 1st with the full moon, those videos will also be out. And those are kind of more bite-sized, meant to guide you through that particular either waxing or waning phase. So the full to new moon 2-week-ish period will be out on the same day that these are out. So you can also check that out. So lots of content to check out. This video, the short videos, those are about 5-6 minutes on average generally, and also the astrological highlights video. So without further ado, let's get into your monthly reading, see what we have going on. I got some interesting astrology this month. So, I mean, don't we? Do I say that every month? I don't know. It seems in some ways a little bit more calm, but there's always something still going on. I'm not going to take that. I wasn't feeling those. I don't know. You guys are probably, if you've watched your Libra videos before, you've seen me probably use this deck, and it's just so long. So sometimes it's a little hard for me to shuffle. All right. Okay, and so we're gonna look at the beginning, middle, and end of the month for you, Libra. We're gonna start with that. And we're also gonna take a look at an overall theme for what area of life is, in focus for you. Okay, interesting. Libra, we're looking at some decisions, some journeying, some considering of possibilities so far. Interesting. Definitely some reflection happening as well. All right. And let's take a look at also what kind of challenge we can expect to be coming forward here. All right. And what kind of spiritual advice is also coming through. I'm actually feeling this card. Do we want this card? Do we? What do you say? I heard somebody say yes. We're doing it. Okay. All right, so that's so funny. It's weird how that comes through sometimes. It just flies out of my mouth. I'm like, I heard someone say yes. I did. I literally heard a voice that said yes. So, because I was on the fence. All right, Libra, let's take a look. So the focus, the area of focus that's coming into focus for this particular month, something that probably feels most up. Now, again, let's take into consideration this is it's a collective reading. So, I also watch collective tarot readings for myself. There are certain people that I'll go check out from time to time. I know that if I'm not resonating with it at all, then it's not my message that month. It's a collective reading. I can't, you can't expect it to be specific to your life and it's going to fit every single Libra's life, right? So just take that into account. If you're watching this, it's your sun sign, it's not resonating, then it's not your message this month. Go check out your rising sign instead and see if that's more resonant. Always, 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 I'm going to say the best way is to get a one-to-one reading. That's how you can get really specific to your life. So I am taking bookings for that. You can find that information down below. So this month we're taking a look at the 10th house for you. That's what topic is most up, right? So the 10th house is the house that has to do with our public roles, has to do with our reputation, has to do with our career. Most often, pretty often, we'll find the midheaven here, which also has to do with career, purpose, path. Although that's not 100% of the time. But yeah, so these are the topics, it says authority, but I really love the imagery here because we see this guy who's he's trying to ascend to the top of the mountain, right? Like this is the place where it's like the highest point in our chart, but it's also the place that we are ascending to, that we are reaching towards, our having to do with our purpose, our path, like those kinds of things. That's so weird. I just felt the table shake as if there was an earthquake. And it's so weird, like growing up in Southern California all my life until like I've only been at this location where I'm at for the last few years. And I gotta say, that was really strange. I was like, oh no, there's an earthquake. Wait a second. Earthquakes don't happen where I live right now. So, okay. Interesting that we're talking about like the earth and ascending and, you know, going up this mountain and like that comes through. So anyway, that's something, that's what's up, right? Is like that work, but more so that purposeful work, that career path. So what do we have unfolding for the month for you? We have the Two of Wands in the beginning part of the month, the middle third of the month having to do with the Fool card, and then the end of the month having to do with the Moon. So let's start there. We'll work our way down. Starting out with the beginning part of the month, we have the Two of Wands. I want to make sure that you guys can actually see that. I know there's a little bit of a glare. I lost my light, so I'm using an extra lighting, so it might be a little glary. But that makes it more sparkly. So, you know, at the beginning of the month, we have, you know, a point of really standing at the precipice of something, right? Like it feels big, like something is about to change, and you're at a place where you're really able to look at all of the possibilities that are spanning in front of you, and to be able to start to make decisions about which path you want to take, which possibility you want to explore, which road do you want to start to go down. And so this is that decision-making part of the process, right? Where you're considering all options, all possibilities, all opportunities, and needing to really consider all of them. So this is what's up in the beginning part of the month here. I mean, and we are in a Venus retrograde, so I would imagine that some of those topics are coming in. Again, I'm not going to really dive into like the astrology really much here because I have the astrological highlights video that you can check out. So but this time that we're in, where we are kind of reviewing and revisioning and revising things that have to do with not only the way that we relate to others, and certainly in romantic ways and things like that, but we are also looking at our creativity, the aesthetics of our life, the values that we have. We're also looking at our like luxury, right? Our finances get pulled into this. So these are the things that we're like taking a look at. And so this is a place where you're really like, you can imagine standing on like some cliff overlooking the land, and you really have this full, like the world is in front of you. The world is your oyster. And so this is a time to really take advantage, widen your perspective. Don't limit yourself to one or the other path. There's so many other paths that you can consider. So if you're feeling like you're stuck in life, if you're feeling backed into a corner, if you're feeling like anything like that, this is a time where you really have the opportunities to create the world the way that you want. You know, sometimes like that beginning place, that starting at square one place, or that like being able to, it reminds me of starting an adventure over again, right? And you're just like, oh, which path do I want to take this direction, right? And so that's an advantage. It's a blank slate. What do you want to create? Where do you want to go? In the middle of the month, we come to the Fool card, right? And so the Fool card, I like just what I was talking about, right? The Fool card is this starting a new adventure, right? Going forth. And so like the thing about the Fool too is that the Fool is full of optimism and hope, and is really looking to what adventure and like he's going to go on, but also he's going on the adventure, right? He's taking off. He's like got his sack with everything he needs to carry on his back. You know, he's got his dog. He's like heading out on the road, and they're heading out together, and he's got everything he needs. So it's like the other message here is like you have everything that you need in terms of resources, in terms of like skill levels that you have. Like you can bring all those things with you on the road and you can make your way in the world. And also the other thing, let's just like not forget that when we start on a new adventure, we're accepting the fact that we're starting on a new adventure and there's going to be really high pinnacle, like amazing moments. And there's going to be moments where we're like, our faith is tested and it's going to feel difficult and challenging. There are perils along the way, but we nonetheless are on the road. We're taking we're going on the journey. And so that's what is happening here. There's an amount of also trust that goes into the process. You know, in the towards the middle of the month on August 13th, I definitely recommend watching that portion, like going to that timestamp for August 13th on the astrological highlights video, to check that out, just because this is a moment where it's kind of like the eye of the storm in the middle of this retrograde. It's a turning point, and it's a day where definitely I feel like you can utilize the energy, the amplification of Venus together with the sun, and in this like vital sign that it's like it's in its home sign, the sun is in Leo, and like that vitality, that radiance, that coming together, that amplification of these two bodies, the cosmic bodies together, and how you can utilize that energy. And I think you can put it towards what you're like working towards, what you're going, like the journey that you're going on, right? So in the first part of the month, it's like all of this consideration, and in the middle part of the month, it's like, okay, we're gonna go on this journey together, right? We're going to do this. And so the last third of the month, it's interesting because I haven't put out the astrology for the second half of the month of August yet, but we'll talk about this, right? So it's not the easiest astrology, but it's also not the worst, right? Not the best, not the worst. There's like, we're going to have Mercury go retrograde. So we'll have both Venus and Mercury retrograde at the same time for a period of time. And this is definitely going to like slow down the energy. And I talk about this more extensively, of course, in the astrological highlights video. But, you know, just to say here, because I feel like it's relevant to this card that you have showing up in the last third of the month, which is the Moon card. It's a more internal card. It's certainly a more sensitive card, right? Like this is more the internal landscape and having to do with sometimes the fears, the shadows, the things that go bump in the night, the things that we would prefer to avoid or not face, and to leave in the darker corners and not have to shine a light on. And the moon asks us to face those shadows, to face, like to shine the light on them, to feel them through and to work through them. And with that slowdown of energy with the two, like these two personal planets being in retrograde, this is a time where it's like slowing down, like really sussing out your feelings, really feeling them through, really getting present to them, like acknowledge what your concerns are, what your fears are. Like get the support that you need too. Make sure that you're well supported. If you need to talk things out, process things with like a therapist or a good friend, or, you know, journaling, whatever it is that you can do. If you need to move your body so that you can move the energy through your body. Like I'm someone who, if I'm feeling like anxiety or worry or fear, like I have to move my body at some point. After processing, I can process all day and night, but I need to at some point move my body to move the energy through, right? So that, like, we utilize whatever tools you have to be able to be present to this, you know. The other thing is like the moon isn't all like bad. It's also like there are benefits to living in the under the softness of the moon. And it's interesting because I think this is also pointing to, for you, we're going to have a blue moon, right? So we're having a second full moon lunation at the end of the month. In August. And so I think this could also, for some of you, be pointing to that particular period of time, like the end of the month as being this punctuated kind of experience, like something that is really being highlighted for you here at the end of the month. Maybe this is part of the transition over into moving into this new adventure, this going into this new place. So we have that. And then we also have the challenge that's coming up here, which I'm not really surprised given like all of this change that's happening here. There's a lot of shifting, there's a lot of new adventure, new horizons, new possibilities, and facing the fears and facing the stuff that comes along with that. But also we have as the challenge the Wheel of Fortune. And with the Wheel of Fortune, it's like, these are the fated moments in life, the ones where we don't have any control over. And the thing is that with the Wheel of Fortune, it's like, shit's gonna change. It's gonna change whether you want it to or not, right? Like, that's the constant. The times when we as human beings tend to struggle the most with it, like, yes, even if it's a painful experience, yes, even if it's a challenging time, whatever it is, it's going to probably feel challenging and difficult or stressful. However, we make it so much worse when we're trying to like hold on to one edge of the wheel. It's like, it's gonna turn no matter what. And we're like pulling and straining and trying to hold it in place. Like, no, don't change. No, I don't want this change. And perhaps for good reason. Maybe it's really stressful and really hard. However, if we can try our best, I know that it's easier to say when you're not in it, in my position, but trying our best to pivot and to be like flexible like bamboo, right? To flow like water, to try to find the opportunity in the difficulty. Like, what are the now advantages that open up, or the opportunities that now open up for you now that you're having to go through this experience, right? And so, like I said, with the journey, like there are high notes and then there are perils along the way. And so even the getting started and going on the journey, there might be things or people that you need to leave behind, or stuff that changes that you really didn't want to change. And so it's this difficulty with accepting and moving with that creates a lot of the stress and challenge inside of your experience. And so this is the challenge that's being called out for you in this particular like period of time in this month. You know, and I can get totally why, right? So you have two things coming up for spiritual advice, and we have the Ace of Cups. I really love that you have the Ace of Cups showing up here. This is like faith, renewed faith, hope, optimism, like hope springs eternal. This is the cleansing, like it's almost like the tears that are cleansing and clearing. It's the feeling refreshed and renewed. And so like with this card, when it shows up, especially when it shows up in a position of like advice from like guides, you know, angels, whoever, like, you know, the universe, whatever you believe in, this is here to say like, hey, have some faith, you know, things will eventually work through and work out. They, you know, you're still here. They always have, because here you are, right? So there is this you know, message coming through to say like, hey, have faith, have hope, find a way to tap into your optimistic side. You know, when we're in a space of optimism, we can see opportunity more readily. We can see possibility more readily. It may not always be the way that we'd like it to be. Along with that, it might be like, this is maybe a stepping stone, but we can see opportunities that we might have been closed off to in a pessimistic view. And so with that, we have the Six of Cups also coming along. I feel really strongly that this particular message is about someone or multiple people that are from your past that are here to be helpful, to be a support for you as you go through this period. So I can think of one Libra right now that I feel like this reading definitely applies to, that I know. So I feel pretty strongly like I wasn't reading for them, but now that I think of it, I'm like, yeah, that could be totally it. So anyway, this Six of Cups, like somebody from your past, somebody coming back in, and you know, being that we're in this like retrograde of Venus, but we also are having Mercury retrograde towards the end of this month, so they'll both be retrograde. This is a time where like we can see sometimes people coming, like connections coming back into our sphere, like coming back into our awareness. You know, like sometimes we lose touch, we fall out of touch for no apparent reason, or we reconnect in some way, or we run into someone randomly. So I would keep an eye out for that. But also I'm feeling like these are people that you have known or connected with, especially like the ones who have you feel like understood, or that give you a sense of nostalgia in some way. That can be a hint for you. But yeah, like this is people that you've known from your past. Like allow them to show up and be helpful, allow them to be supportive, or tap into those resources. You know, so that's what I see for you, Libra. So I hope that this was helpful. If it was, please consider giving the video a like. It helps me with the algorithm gods as I try to grow and have this channel be seen by more people. Also, while you're at it, why not subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos on the horizon. So if it's not already up on the screen, it will be shortly in a moment or two, but I will have the astrological highlights video up on the screen somewhere here. And also just to remind you, the full to new moon readings, those will also be out on the same day. So thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.